After building itself an empire, getting most of its fleet sank, getting all its islands invaded, and losing its allies, getting invaded by the Soviets, and getting nuked a few times, Japan decides peace is good. Japan lost all their islands except for the home islands, Okinawa and Iwo Jima. They also lost Korea and Manchuria and all their Chinese territories. The Kuril Islands and South Sakhalin. The US also occupied them, but Emperor Hirohito kept his position. Americans also thought, hey, are we gonna keep this guy who invaded half of Asia in power? So they set up democracy and limited his power, this time with women's rights. Now that all that was done, it's time to rebuild. But that's gonna be hard because most Japanese cities look like this. So how do you go from this to this? For the last few decades, Japan had been building an empire, and its entire culture was built around the emperor and its power. So first that had to be fixed and put Japan on a more modern course. To fix that, General Douglas MacArthur printed this picture in the Japanese press, which showed him as taller than Emperor Hirohito, making him more powerful. Next they had to fix that everyone was starving, with citizens in Tokyo only getting around 700 calories a day. Fix this by the US sending emergency rations to Japan in 1946. The US also reformed the Japanese land, bought land from wealthy landlords and sold it to poor Japanese for low rates. The US also broke down large financial cliques like the WW2, and government monopolies were set up to help grow the economy more. This worked quite well. Japan's first democratic constitution was passed soon after, and it basically demilitarized Japan, which let them focus more on their civilian economy than war. They used all the money from demilitarizing Japan to rebuild their industry and work on infrastructure like train networks and new roads for Japan. Most of the money made from their industry went back into education to educate the new generations of Japan. This made Japan a technological hub of the world. The US left Japan in 1952 and ended their occupation of almost 7 years. Japan's economy continued to grow because of their technical innovation, reinvestment in schools, and rebuilding of industry and infrastructure networks. They also liberalized their trade so they made more profits, which they could then reinvest into other parts of Japan. In 1955, they finally overtook their pre-war economic power. They also started to invest in stuff like manufacturing and mining, and they started exporting tons of goods. In the late 1960s, Japan's economy had become the third largest on Earth. After Emperor Hirohito's death in 1989, Japan's economy started to decline. It entered the last decade where it severely economically declined. But in 2005 it recovered, and it's continued to grow today, but just at a slower rate. Mix of US economic aid, free trade policies, investment into infrastructure like trains and roads, reinvesting Japan's profits into education, and becoming a technological hub of the world. Japan managed to go from rubble to one of the biggest economies in the world. Lesson today is if you try to go to war with the US and get defeated, you might get built back better. If you like this video, please subscribe. I'll probably upload daily for the next while anyway, so you may as well.